welcome back. I've got an amplifier again here. It's a truly a vintage one this time. It's a Siera 5521, 5521 from 1973. And it's actually a Philips because Siera is just a brand name of Philips, or was a brand name of Philips. So any Siera products from after the 40s, let's say, are just, Philips products with a different look. So typically the Siera batch products, they looked a bit less fancy. They were a bit less luxurious in general, but they had exactly the same functionality. The electronics were identical, and same for this. This is also an equivalent of the Philips 22RH521, which got a bit of a following here in Belgium and the Netherlands because of his looks. Well, the Philips version, that is, because this had this weird, futuristic 70s style look. It always reminds me about the style of A Clockwork Orange. If I look at those amplifiers, they were dubbed the fisheye amplifiers. Philips also had tuners and receivers and possibly also other audio equipment in this style range. So all these fisheye styled components, they became quite popular among collectors because of their really vintage 70s looks. And also I've heard that they sound really well. So we'll find that out, because this is electrically or electronically identical to the 22RH521. But it just looks a bit more boring. That's really how Philips used these sister brands. This was also available under the brand name Aristona, which was originally a Dutch company and had the same fate as Siera. So they just made a more boring or basic looking version of their equipment and batched that with another brand name just to gain more market share, I guess. Probably they would have also been slightly cheaper than the really Philips branded models, but hey, they are basically identical. And this version is also, this amplifier was Philips had in their fisheye series a couple of amplifiers available. This is the full featured one with all the buttons and all the switches and everything that you wanted. So this is the big guy, let's say. It's a 2x30 watt amplifier, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you have to think about the fact that it's 1973. So it's quite respectable, and it has quite a bit of features. You have the VU meters, obviously, volume control, and then you have the dreaded slider switches for, some people really don't like these. Balance, bass, presence, and treble. So there are 3 tone controls here: bass, presence, and treble. Then you have here another control, which is contour. I don't know what it does. I think it's also a type of tone control, probably. Here is the rumble and scratch filter. If you set it in the top position, you enable both the rumble and the scratch filter. This is off. This is only the scratch filter, and this is only the rumble filter. So very weird the way that they made this thing. A bit of typical Philips stuff. These are the, let's call it, radio buttons to select between the inputs. So you have pickup input, microphone, tuner, tape, and auxiliary. This is the monitor switch, mono stereo, speaker 1, speaker 2, and then this mysterious switch called stereo 4. Originally, when I picked up the amp, I thought this meant that it was a quadraphonic amplifier, but that's not true. It's just a fancy way of saying that you can enable both sets of speakers at the same time. So instead of just putting switches here, putting simple push buttons that you can select both at the same time, you have a stereo 4 button which just enables both sets of speakers at the same time. The funny thing is that in their promo documents, they are really talking about this stereo 4 switch that you can now listen to 2 sets of stereo speakers. It's weird, but okay. Then you have the headphone switch and the power switch. And then here we have a on-off indicator and a stereo indicator. And then behind this flap, we have a microphone input and a headphone input, and they are both DIN sockets. Okay, so this thing is extremely heavy for an amplifier of this power. So it's pretty well built, and this is real wood. It's veneered, but it's real wood. It does have a bit of damage on the side here, some scratches, but nothing major. Yeah, here on top as well, you see. Oh, this is heavy. I'm gonna put it back. Here as well, some scratches. Here as well. But yeah, I think it's quite solidly built. At least it feels like it's solidly built. On the back, we have here a big heatsink with the transistors mounted behind these plates. Power cord, and this is not original, I guess. Probably the previous owner wanted to have RCA jacks. Now, I picked this up from someone who cleans out deceased estates. So yeah, cleans up people's houses. And according to him, he got this from the house of a guy who used to work at Philips. Yeah, that's all I can say. Oh, here is also a big chip out of the veneer. And here in the back you have the inputs and the outputs, so 2 sets of speakers, and auxiliary tuner tape, monitor and pickup, and they are all DIN plugs. And then the volt selective switch, which is set to 220. Now, I haven't powered this up. It's been sitting for a while here in my workshop. I haven't powered this up, so I haven't got no clue if it's working or not. Okay, so just let's check what it does. It might work, actually. I haven't tried it, so let's just power it up and see what it does. I have it hooked up to the DIN bulb limiter, and I have one 25-watt bulb in series. So that's the second one here. You should be able to see that on the video. And let's just see what it does. I mean, what can go wrong? I haven't powered it up yet, so I have no clue what will happen. Anyway, maybe we'll get fireworks again. Let's see. So DIN bulb limiter is on. Let's power up the amp. Okay. Do I have a stereo? Or I don't have a power light. I heard something click. Let's try that again. Was it a relay? Let me power it up again. This power meter is doing something. This one is not. No. Can't hear. Oh, I thought I heard a relay, but I don't think there is a relay inside here. But it's getting 210 volts now. And it's consuming 8 watts. So the bulb is very dim. So this is 220 volts. And it's not doing anything. I don't see any dial lamps here. I don't see the power indicator lighting up. I can only see it consuming power. That's it. This meter is wiggling when I turn the volume control. I don't know if you can see that. It might be a bit dark. Let me just increase the... Yeah, see? This is wiggling. So that suggests that probably the volume control is scratchy and the meter is picking it up. but only the right channel. The left channel is not doing anything, so either the meter, something wrong with the meter, or the channel is dead. Which one is the balance? This is the balance. Yeah, no, it's not doing anything. See, if I turn the balance all the way to the left, and this one stops, so that's working. But yeah, the left channel is out, I think. Maybe it's the switches. No, not really. And all the bulbs are out. So the bulbs here, if there are bulbs in the meters, I guess there are. They aren't working, and these two bulbs here are also not working. The mono stereo, can't see anything lighting up there. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I can check for DC offset before we apply speakers to this. Okay, so in the speaker sockets I plugged in some DIN plugs with the connectors open, so that I can, or the connectors exposed, the pins exposed, so that I can measure the DC offset here, just to have to make sure that I don't short them out. So let's power it up again. Right. It was the right channel that was working, if you remember. So this is the right channel. Let's see if we get the DC offset on here. 13 millivolt, 3 millivolt, 7 millivolt. That's nice. Now I have already checked the schematic, and the outputs, they are capacitively coupled. So yeah, it's to be expected that there is a low DC offset on these outputs. Let's check the other one. 0. Totally 0. So indeed, the left channel is... there's something wrong with the left channel. That's clear. Okay, so I have my speakers connected, and I have my signal generator connected to the auxiliary input, and I'm only feeding a signal into the left channel, but I have mono enabled, so that means that I should hear it on both, but we already know that the left one is probably out. So let's turn it on. Yeah, I can already hear it. Now, what is weird is that this meter totally pegs when you power up the amp, but okay. It also immediately gives sound, so there is no protection circuit or anything. But wow, this is dirty. The right channel is coming through, but quite dirty. And nothing on the left channel. If I disable mono, yeah, I can still hear it very faintly, but that's just cross-channel bleed probably. Some interference from one channel into the other. But see, there is nothing on the left channel. Let's go back into, yeah, maybe let's check the, no, balance control is working, but yeah, the left channel is just totally dead. Yeah, let's go back into mono. Whoa! Yeah, these switches are very dirty. This one as well. Volume control is actually quite okay. This one is also scratchy. This one too. This one as well. This one as well. So yeah, all the switches need to be cleaned, and the left channel is out. So yeah, let's just power it down and not push our luck any further. So I'm gonna open this thing up, or at least see how it opens up, and then we can have a look inside if we can maybe spot the issue here. Alright, so I was a bit confused at first on how to open it up. I looked at the bottom and it was not initially clear or immediately clear, but it's actually quite simple. It's just 3 screws over here, one over there, and one over there. And then this top just lifts off. And Yeah, let's put these screws aside that I don't lose them. Let's see what we get in here. See, the top with the wooden panel lifts up. Oh, wow. That's a lot. Let me just put this aside. Oh, there is one of these metal trims here, or which has come loose. So I need to glue that back here. Okay. Now this is quite interesting. Wow. Let me give you a closer look. Okay, let's have a look at how this is made. This is actually looking really interesting. See, so this is the power supply section. We have lots of fat filter capacitors underneath. There is, I spot here immediately already a resistor, which is had been getting quite hot probably. That's the bridge rectifier. Interesting. And then here on the left, we have the main PCB. And wow. That's really something. That's really something. And the amplifier PCB is actually bolted upright here on this side. You can see it on the video. But well, it's really well made actually. See how all these wires here are guided with these tube sleevings. Very nice. Nice and big shielded power transformer. Let me give you a look from the other side. See, so here is the amplifier PCB. According to the service manual, it should slide out like this upwards, so you can remove it. They say it has a service position, so if you want to service the PCB, you can unscrew it and shift it upwards. This PCB, there is an opening on the bottom of the amplifier, like an old tube radio. It has a metal window, let's say, on the bottom, so that you can service this PCB from the bottom side. Yeah, that's quite interesting. I see a fuse for each channel here. I see a lot of electrolytics. Oh boy. This is gonna keep me occupied for a while, I think. Wow. I think this fuse is blown. Yeah, this fuse is blown. So that's probably the fuse for the left channel. I can't see a wire in there, so I guess it's open. Let me just test for continuity here. This one. Yeah. Yeah, this fuse is blown. Okay. It's already something. So this is our left channel then here. Okay. I just have to think a bit about this, maybe take a bit about the dust a bit out of it, but it's really acceptable, even though the fact that the amp does have openings on top. The amount of dirt here inside here, or dust inside here, is still very, very acceptable. I'm still gonna clean it out a bit and think a bit where to start with this. Okay, so I know we all laugh a lot at Philips, but maybe we should start apologizing, because this is really well made and really well thought out of. Because see this amp PCB here, I just loosened these two screws here on top, and see, it just lifts out fully without disconnecting any wire. I can access the front and the back of this PCB. I can access here the connections of the transistors. Yeah, I wish all manufacturers would keep servicing in mind like they did over here, because this is really well done. The PCBs, they are very primitive though. Or very, yeah, early, in 1973, okay, but really nice. So, this means that I'm gonna start checking here a bit the amplifier for the left channel. I now have, and it's nicely laid out here. See, you can really draw a line in the middle here, and you have a mirror image on both sides. Wow. So it's really easy to find the corresponding component on the other channel. Yeah, so I'm gonna start checking here. On this side, I don't see any swapped components. I don't think anyone has been in here. I think everything is still original. So yeah, nice. So I think I found already the issue. Well, maybe one of the issues, but a major one. This is on the outputs on the left channel from collector to emitter. Yeah, that's a dead short. On the other one as well. Let me, if I can try to get in there. That's the, yeah, see, also a dead short. If I measure the same on the right channel, obviously, then I don't have it. Yeah, then I have a simple voltage drop on both sides. See there as well. So these outputs are blown. These are BD 182s. So that's already the first thing that's blown. So I'm gonna take these out and then we can troubleshoot further. So that's the first thing that we need to replace. Okay, so these outputs, they are tucked away here behind this cover plate. There they are. Oh. All right. Two times a BD 182. And on this channel, it'll be the same things. I'm also going to remove the cover plate here, just so that I can clean it a bit inside as well. Ow! And just also to check if they have been replaced. But I don't think so, because the markings are still the same. And is that, I think that's a date code, because I know the amp is from 1973 and it says 7320, so that could be a date code. So these are still the 4 original outputs, but these two are blown. Okay, so 5 screws and this entire heatsink comes out, and if you then put this PCB back, you have more than enough cable to just lay this over here and work on it in a very accessible manner. I'm telling you, this is not something you take for granted when working on this type of equipment. I mean, I've just stopped working on a transistorized tube radio because it was annoying me too much, and it was so difficult to access everything. Here you just take out the heatsink and you can reach both outputs. Really nice. The only slight complaint I have here is that they used the color brown 2 times. One for the collector of this transistor and one for the base. Is it the base? I think it's the base of this one. That's a bit annoying, so I will have to mark one of these. Let me do that immediately here on video. Let me do that immediately here, so I'll just mark this one black. So then we have here from top to bottom yellow, green, brown. Then this collector is gray, black, and the bottom one is brown again, but the one that I marked black. So let me just remove these guys here, and then we'll probably see that they are blown. Okay, so I got this one out, the BD182, the first one. Now what is interesting is they had a piece of mylar on here, or yeah, this film, and there is no heat sink compound on there. Okay, that's probably not the best way to do things, but yeah, that means that the mylar is still reusable. So I'm gonna store this safely so that I don't crack it. Now let's see about this guy. I guess it will be shorted, right? Diode test. Let's test between collector and I think this is the emitter. Yeah, see, that's a dead short. But towards the base, they are still okay, I think. Yeah, see? It's an NPN, so positive on the base. But towards collector, it's shorted. And I guess the other one will be the same. So these are BD182s. I don't have these in stock, so I will need to order them. But first I'm going to go through the amp and see if there are other transistors as well that are shorted, because it could be that the drivers are shorted as well. I don't know. And yeah, then when I have a better view on which type of transistors I need to order, I will place an order somewhere for these. Okay, so I took both outputs out, and indeed they are both shorted, both collector to emitter. Now I think that a 2N3055 are also equivalent for this, or equivalent. You can replace these by a 2N3055, I think. But I'm thinking about still trying to pick up these BD182s just for originality. Yeah, because the entire amp is stocked with transistors which are marked BC or BD, or so it's the entire European naming system. So it would be nice to have matching transistors, BD182s. Now I went through the rest of the amp board, and all the transistors that are on there, I think they are still okay. They tested fine at first sight, just with a diode check on the multimeter. Only the thyristor here, there's a thyristor in each channel. That one I haven't checked yet. I checked the capacitors and they also seem fine still. So I think it might still just be the outputs that blew. Anyway, so that means that for the moment, I don't see any others that I need to replace. I'm gonna go through here a lot more thoroughly, check if there are some weird capacitors that I don't have in stock that I also need to order. Maybe some of the big ones of the power supply, don't know yet. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Check here if I can spot anything, so then I can combine an order maybe somewhere. Okay, so I think I got my homework to do. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am, because I really like this amp. The way it's laid out, the way it looks super vintage. So yeah, looking good. So yeah, anyway, I think that's it for this video. We just did a diagnosis of what is wrong, and hopefully in the next video we can really start repairing something. So anyway, I'd like to thank you for watching if you haven't fallen asleep yet, and I'd like to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.